And that's, to be quite honest with you, what we had talked about, and the challenge that the defense had accepted the entire week was that we needed to get turnovers. You hope that you can get 3 a game. That came out with 4. And those guys know it. They know exactly what they got because it's that important to us. So my hat's off to the defense. I thought overall offensively we had our moments, and we're pretty good. And then at times we sputtered, and we need to be more consistent. The consistency is the key to any good offense. And we've got to be more consistent. We had some drives in there that we had some 3 and outs, and those are what we don't want because we're having a defense that's playing extremely hard against a very good opponent and a very good quarterback that we don't want to be 3 and out and putting him back on the field. And so I was happy with the way the defense responded to those situations of coming back out there. And then I was happy at the end of the game the way the offense was able to run the football down the field and put ourselves in a position to win the game the way we want to, run the ball. So overall, our players on a short week and a turnaround, I think the way our coaches prepared this week, you never quite know in a short week exactly, are you getting yourself fresh enough, are you healthy enough? I knew everybody was tired. Everybody had heavy eyes till about 3 o'clock today. And they seemed to get their juice back just a little bit, every one of us. So it was really the thought that went into the week, I thought was very good. And how these players responded to coming out to play another physical football game, the energy they showed was tremendous. So overall, great win. Very happy to do it here at the Vault. Very happy to do it with our fans. Love the fans tonight. Everybody out there, the third downs, everybody standing up. We were better as a crowd than we were in the first game. Everybody's up. Everybody's cheered. I mean, the energy's there, and it showed each and every time. So that was fantastic. And this week we go into another week, and it's about the process, the preparation, and how we're going to go about getting ourselves prepared to play Memphis. So you look at the numbers there, I think on both sides, I know that they had 95 plays for 614 yards. We had a little over 530 yards. I think the yards are a little bit, when you look at it, I do think stats are for losers, and it comes down to turnovers and the final score at the end of the game. That's what matters. We got plenty to work on all 3 phases. We have plenty to work on. So we don't walk out of here thinking that we've got things figured out by any means. We go back to the drawing board and we figure out why we just weren't executing in certain areas the way we want to. So it's all about getting better. Like I said last week, we have a 24-hour rule. We'll put this one to bed after 24 hours and we move on. And this has nothing to do with going into next week. We learn from it, but we go into a different mindset in playing another opponent, and we prepare ourselves to go in there and give ourselves a chance to win. So with that, if you guys have questions, we'll open it up.
The turnovers, you said earlier in the week, Corey Robinson, he hadn't thrown an interception all year. How do you think you guys got those? You got to him, pressured him a little bit. Do you think that's what they came from, or just?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think the pressure. I also think just the plan that Coach Thompson had. I had a chance to talk to him a little bit about it. Didn't have any input on it, but other than, hey, what are we thinking? Because I know the quarterback's a good player, and from that standpoint, I can provide some insight. And I like what he had. I like what he did out there. And I like the way that he played the quarterback tonight. And I like the way our players studied film. And if you watched them, I felt like they had a good feel going into that game of what they could expect. And they were dropping into lanes. And really, you got to trust. You just have to trust your pre-snap keys that tell you this could be it. Sometimes it wasn't. I mean, we got beat on the wheel route. Well, you're playing for something else, and guess what? They have a complement to it. You're playing for a curl route. They throw the flat. The guy runs for 14 yards. I mean, it's one of those games that you play, and when you're playing against a good quarterback and he's playing that chess match against you, I thought that we did a really good job down the road from that standpoint.
So how thrilled were you with Allen Hughes having such a big game with the background, what he's been going through the last year? How happy and how thrilled were you with his effort tonight?
Well, as a person, extremely happy. From a personal standpoint. As a player, very, very happy the way that he went out there and executed. Again, we'll go back and watch the tape. And, just like this week, it's never as good as it seems, it's never as bad as it seems, and that's no different than last week. There'll be things to work on, but Allen's a guy that continues. We've got to remember that he did not play last year. He gets himself back in the mix, so he's getting himself back to really being in those games last couple of games here, and so the way he operated tonight was very good. His wide receivers, he made some big plays for us. Julian Jones, the one, he told me straight up that it was a catch, and I knew exactly when he told me that it was a catch, and he was absolutely right. So that was a big opportunity for us to continue that drive. So those guys are playing well. Jaden is a guy we continue to try to find ways to get to him. And Trez Houston and Carlos McCants, some other guys that stepped up tonight and were doing some things for us. So I like what Coach Tucker is doing with them. I like the group, and we just got to keep getting better there.
One of those wrinkles that you talked about earlier, what other things surprised you the most that they did?
From a defensive standpoint, they were not wanting to let us run the ball. They did play heavy in the box. I understand that. Even after the two games we played, I did understand the way they did that. They did allow some opportunities for some one-on-one matchups, which I think we took advantage of, or we tried to take advantage of it, I should say, more often than not. Probably could have done it more. And so, their game plan was, let's not let those running backs take off. Let's see if the quarterback can beat us. And that's really, you look at it from a pass game, I understand that. I understand that, a quarterback trying to beat you, besides running the football. We've got weapons inside, we've got weapons outside. Which ones you got to kind of pick your poison. So they did some things up front. They mixed up their coverage as well. Their defense was well coached. They did a lot. I thought they did some very good things in there when they did have a chance for some tackles there. They made them. And then offensively, they ran their stuff. They took advantage of some opportunities. I think really from the quarterback standpoint, I don't think the play was maybe good call, but the quarterback made the check to it for some things down the middle of the field, and he got it. He saw something, and that's what happens when you play a smart quarterback like that. He's going to see what he needs to see and take advantage of it. He missed a couple of them, but he took advantage of two of them, and those could have been different if we hadn't played them so well.
What do you think made such a big difference in the fourth quarter?
Well, I think the mindset that we were already preparing for that. I think just mentally. I do think that we physically, just those guys, just looking at them, and even on a short week, I did not see a lot of guys hanging their head. I mean, they're sweating up there, they're going hard, but they were wide-eyed, and there was a lot of energy in that fourth quarter. I think that the thrill of playing in a game like that and the opportunity to do something special, you don't know when it's going to happen or who it's going to be, but to maybe be that guy that does it, that changes the game and gets the ball back or wins the game in a fourth quarter situation. Everybody wants to do that. Everybody wants to be a part of that. So the energy was very good. I thought the physical, just physically, I felt good about how we felt in the fourth quarter. So that tells me that the way that we had set up our prep going into this game was the right thing.
Looked like the defensive line really played a lot more aggressive, or
we did. Well, I do think this. I think in those situations there, it's not, it wasn't. It's a one-score game, but probably a little bit more on the pass game, so they can kind of tee off a little bit, pin their ears back, and go. And then, Coach Caldwell and Coach Thompson dialing up to get those guys an opportunity to come after the quarterback, and then have some protection with some backers and some safeties around them, just in case they do decide to run it. Those guys are going to have to make plays. You're going to give up something. You got to kind of play that game, and you're going to take calculated risk. Come after the quarterback when he throws it. If they run it, you know what? We came after him, and they ran all the way outside. They bounced one outside too. So you're taking those risks, and there was a holding penalty on it, so it came back. But I liked the plan that we had from that standpoint.
Let's talk about the go-ahead touchdown Freddie's run there, and just how that play was set up.
Well, we actually didn't have that in. We've practiced. We've had it in, but it wasn't in this game plan. We ran a little variation of it the first time and came back, and the way they had played it, the reason why we ran one way is because we thought they might play it the other way, and they actually played it the way to stop the one that we ran. And so, we just made an adjustment. We had run the play, but we hadn't really practiced it this week, but everybody knows it, so it's one of our plays that we can go to. And so those guys were able to adjust, got down there and felt like that was the right time to do it. And Freddie's a guy that we want to utilize in the red zone. And you saw him in different roles tonight. He'll continue that. So I think down there to give him a chance, also because of some legs, the speed, and the opportunity just to get on the perimeter. We weren't doing a whole lot up inside, and so it felt like at that time the perimeter
three exchanges.
Yeah, there's 3 on it. He gives it to David Oku, and David Oku gave it to Freddie.
Okay, that's we
Yeah.
couldn't tell who the
Yeah.
second guy was.
Yeah, it goes to JD, to David, to Freddie.
And you seem to have 2 blockers over there waiting for Freddie to come around, right?
Yeah, we got a couple lead guys, around the edge right there. We can't figure out how to get a 4th handoff in there yet. I'm sure these coaches will figure that out. Yeah, we had run it the other way before, so just a kind of a funky little package in there to do something down the red zone, have some fun with it.
Did you guys expect them to throw downfield as much as they did, and why is it so difficult, it seemed, to kind of keep track of those guys downfield?
Well, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a vertical team.
Yeah.
And just, and our defensive staff was too. And like I said, I don't necessarily think, because of what we showed, would have told you it's probably not going to be good. And I think it's something that he saw and made a check to which wide receiver he threw to, and just said, hey, take it. They study film too, and whether somebody's set or squad or they wanted to take advantage of somebody, I don't know what their thinking was, but they made a decision. Quarterback made a decision, and you know what, he hung in there and he had some time, so we needed to get a little bit more pressure on him because he took about 3.5, 4 seconds to launch that ball down the field, and when he did it, and you got that much time, and you got a speed receiver, that's what's going to happen. So thus I think the aggressiveness showed in the 4th quarter in some critical situations to come after him, because either way, if you let him sit back there, if you let that quarterback sit back there and not be pressured, he'll just play the game, and he'll find open receivers. And if you can come after him and at least get the ball out of his hands, that's less coverage time and less time for them to try to get double moves and things on the field.
Coach, just sense how well do you think Adam Kennedy played? He made some good throws in the first half, but talk about the poise that he had in the second half, especially when the game was back and forth.
Well, I like the way he played. I like Adam's demeanor on the sideline. He got a little bit rolled up, I think, on his calf or something like that. He was fine. But at the end of the game, we ran a little zone read and he kept it. And he had a big run. You want him to go. He's such a tall guy. He's going to take shots. But he hangs on to the football. And he's just a football player. That's the best way to say it. He's just a football player. And is it perfect every time? No. Does he make every decision perfectly? No. I have never had a quarterback that does. But I do have. I've been around guys, and not always that position, that are football players, and you can talk to them. And the game, he flows with the game. He just plays and flows with the game, and you really want that. He's into it. He knows what's happening. He understands the situations. It's not getting too big for him, and at the same time, he knows exactly what needs to get done in that next series. And he can accept coaching during games, and he can come back and correct it. So, best way to describe him as a football player. I like what he's doing, and I like the decision he's making, because when I look at the stat sheet there, I don't see any interceptions or turnovers, and so that's the key for us.
What do you think about Gordon's run, the big one up the middle? And also, did you sense that they were getting a little tired and maybe his speed would give them some problems?
Well, I like the play selection. Coach Drinkwitz said that, I think this is a good time to do this, and also said, let's put Michael in. Because Mike, he said, we got fresh legs. I think this will be good. And then we added a little movement to it prior. Got a little bit better look than we even hoped for. And then, really the O-line said it. The thing about that play, we're playing a couple linemen on it. They meant them on their side of the line. And then Michael that play was designed to go outside. He stuck his foot in the ground and just hit it vertical. And when he did, the safeties were coming down to play the perimeter run, and he just found the crease and went. And the one thing about Michael, we've seen that, he can go. And he showed that tonight. I guess a very speedy defense, in my opinion, and took it the distance.